Welcome to the program. I ask you to continue to pray for our son, Michael. We are broadcasting from temporary studios here in Memphis, Tennessee, but we are in fact relocating here for the indefinite future, and we will be altering our studio to accommodate a better broadcast for you, the viewer. But in the meantime, we're here so that we can in fact save our son's life, please God, through much prayer and through the hard work of the physicians and the nurses at St. Jude Children's Hospital. All right, I watched and listened with interest, as hopefully you did as well, as our Commander-in-Chief laid out the ground rules for sending the 300 American soldiers, special ops soldiers, many of them not to fight, but to advise. And if you listen to his words, or if you read his words, you realize that in many ways, our president doesn't have a clue. He did, however, finish most of his press conference with one very germane statement that is true, and we will give the devil his due when we get to that. But let's play the first clip, please.
The United States will lead a diplomatic effort to work with Iraqi leaders and the countries in the region to support stability in Iraq. Above all, Iraqi leaders must rise above their differences and come together around a political plan for Iraq's future. Shia, Sunni, Kurds, all Iraqis must have confidence that they can advance their interests and aspirations through the political process rather than through violence.
All right, so does any thinking person believe that the majority of the Iraqi people have confidence that they can reach a peaceful political solution? How many of us have confidence that they want a peaceful political solution? Think about that. We're trying to superimpose on the Islamic faith, whether Sunni or Shiite, we're trying to superimpose the notion, the idea, the ideal that they should want a peaceful political, democratically reached solution. That's not the history of Islam. That's not the history of Islamic governance. The history of Islam is the history of the sword, okay? You can study the 1400 years of Islamic history and see that democracy is not a part of the fiber of the ummah, the people, the body politic. It is, in essence, a theocentric dictatorship where one man is the political, military, and religious leader of the people. That's what the caliph, or the successor, that's an Arabic word that means successor. That's what the caliph is of Muhammad, the successor of Muhammad. So we think because we won a war, and we have our way of doing things, and we have our history in the Judeo-Christian West, that we can simply superimpose that on them and that they're going to have confidence this is going to work. You sooner could sail the good ship Lollipop into the region and have success. All right, play the second clip if you would, please.
Meanwhile, the United States will not pursue military options that support one sect inside of Iraq at the expense of another. There's no military solution inside of Iraq, certainly not one that is led by the United States.
All right, I feel like this statement is putting the squeeze on Prime Minister Maliki. We're not going to have any military options that favor one sect over another. Whoa, hold on. We would send in military to make sure that our men did not die in vain, that the stability, whatever stability we brought, was maintained. But I think Obama is signaling here to the terrorists, as well as to Maliki, that we want the Sunni Shiite conflict, fighting, bitter killings to come to an end. So if he supports the government, the terrorists will view that as supporting Shiite interests. So by him saying that we're not going to support one sect or another inside of Iraq, whoa. What you're saying is that you'll let the government of Iraq fall because it's dominated by Shiites? Are you saying that the Sunni terrorists should keep up their pressure and thereby force Maliki and the other Shiite to some type of a negotiating table? Or is he secretly wink, wink, nod, nod, favoring, I mean, kind of tipping his hand, or rather tipping his hat a little bit to the Sunni terrorists? I mean, people, they know where they are. They see the columns. They know where they're coming from the Syrian border. They know where they are right now. We could have bombed them into oblivion. So this statement is putting the squeeze on Maliki, perhaps to try and do something that no other Islamic nation has had. If you're dominated by Sunnis, then the Shiites, you get short shrift. If you're dominated by Shiites, well, you Sunnis, you're heretics. And if you've got a situation like you have in Syria, where the minority people, the Shiites, are ruling over the majority, the Sunni, then you have constant bloodshed, constant fighting. I'm going to take a quick break, give you the background of this Shiite-Sunni infighting, and you need to know it, all right? It could bear in on you, really, really bear in on you. I'll explain when we come back. This is the Voice of Resistance.